Third attempt today. First two attempts, the comment section was shut off after the first 10 minutes on the first one. And after the first hour on the second one. So we'll see if this video is allowed to exist, because the other ones haven't been. Which is totally normal, natural. That's what it does. I mean, how many times are you watching a video and the person doing it says, "Oh, look, the comment section got shut off again"? It's literally never happened. I've never seen it happen to anybody else before. Gotta take those lines, not blow my nose taking lines. I'm scared. So, why is it like this? What is happening? Oh. If I'm wrong about everything, what's going on here? Why is there so much goddamn effort put into censoring a feed that is wrong? The person doing it is crazy. Oh, well, thank you, Red Hippopotamus. The Israel guy who got arrested. Yup. Because nobody's ever been arrested before but me. Especially falsely arrested. Weird how you would leave that part out, but hey. Oh, I got arrested in Vegas. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. This is just the dumb J that comes here every day to themselves look stupid and prove everything I possibly could say about how horrible these people are. That's all. Because they're the dumbest, worst people in the world. Really, just a horrible, horrible thing. Don't forget to grab your mail, man. Don't forget to grab your mail. Having that old guy now. Hey, don't forget to. AIPAC. You guys understand who AIPAC is? You guys understand what AIPAC is? AIPAC controls the United States. It's not even really up for debate. It's such an obvious narrative, and that's really awful. It's an awful narrative, but it's the absolute truth. And until you're willing to address that, you're a part of the problem. Okay? AIPAC is the Israeli official who was caught sex trafficking, yes. And then was shipped back to Israel, and then the whole thing was denied by Netanyahu and gang. Yes, that absolutely happened. At the end of the day, you have to wonder why it's even being talked about. Why we even know about it. Because normally, something that falls into that category would be covered up. We would never know about it. Just like Epstein. If they didn't want us to know about Epstein, we wouldn't have known about Epstein. Why do we know about Epstein? Is it an effort to to normalize it? Is it an effort to contain the narrative? Because at this point, all of the focus is on a dead guy. But the thing is, I don't know where I even saw that article or heard that maybe the presentation, whatever it was. But when it comes to like the whole Ghislaine Maxwell Epstein thing, the Jewish aspect of it is completely ignored. And it wasn't in the process of it. The victims are reported to have said, to say, like, they would hear her say things like, you're not Jewish, you don't matter. And like, this was a really common theme among the abuse as to facilitate the abuse, was that the victims were being abused because they're just dumb goyim to begin with. And the Epstein-Israel connection is like, it's barely talked about other than by, some of the more ardent truthers. But those guys who are saying the right things are the ones who at the end of the day tell you to believe in God. So they're still corralling the troops. And most of them aren't actually, like, they still say there are plenty of good Jays out there. There are plenty of good Jays out there. There are no good Jays out there. There might be good actors and actresses who put on a good show in front of you. There might even be those who do good things. But if you need to belong to the cult that says you're chosen by God and the rest of us aren't, if you need to belong to the Matitza Bipa cult, if you need to belong to the mikvah cult, if you need to belong to the 26 or 2,800 Gentile slaves for every one of them cult, you're not a good person. You can't say that, oh, I'm a NAMBLA member, but because I don't actually, I support my brother's rights to have relationships with boys. I don't personally have any relationships with boys, but I'm still a NAMBLA member. Like, that doesn't work that way. Nobody goes, oh, okay, well, I'm going to focus on just the ones that are, molesting the boys. No. Anybody who's associated with it, anybody who supports that fucking thing is a monster, is a piece of shit monster. And if you can overlook something so horrible, then you're capable of it. I don't care what fucking identity I had, what label I gave myself. If I belonged to some sort of group, and that group I found out was consistently associated, like, I get that maybe there might be one bad apple that can come through, and that's not going to kill it. But when this group is consistently associated with the worst things possible, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm still in the group. I just don't like that they're doing this or they're doing that. No, fuck that group. Fuck that group. Fuck them, every single one of them. This was... You're talking about Democrats, right? Yeah, because I'm stupid. Because when told to pick between the left side and the right side, I'm smart, right? They said, I'm going to slap you in the face with the left hand or the right hand. You pick it. I'm going to give you the choice. And because I'm smart, I asked them this. Check this out. It's my secret. I asked them what hand they are, right? Right? Think. And when they said they were right-handed, I picked the left side because they probably can't slap as hard with the left side. Get it? So, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hit me with the left side. Go ahead. Like, you're stupid as shit if you subscribe to Republican or Democrat. You're just as stupid if you're I'm an American kind of bullshit. Especially when you're a white guy. When you're the typical white guy who thinks that this is his country. You know, if you believe the historical narrative, like, you're stupid. Why would you? I can prove to you that you're an arrogant shitbag. You want to know how? Because all of you, I'm an American, America first, blah, blah, blah. Well, do you believe Oswald shot Kennedy? The answer is no. None of you do. None of you believe Oswald shot Kennedy. So you believe that your American government is lying to you. Because, you know, you think, I can see that. I can decipher, looking at the evidence given to me, that they're fucking lying. But I can see on this thing, when they tell me that the earth is round, well, then it must be true. I'm smart like that. I can decipher. I get to pick and choose which things I'm told that I believe. Robert Kennedy should find the best scientists to study the Democrat brain. See what I mean? Like, these guys, this is how stupid they are. They have to argue something, right? They can't argue the points that I'm making. So instead, they have to make me into a Democrat so then they can argue. They have a gun that shoots at Democrats. The gun doesn't shoot at anything else. They have the gun all loaded and ready to shoot at Democrats. So they have to make you a Democrat so they have something to shoot. Otherwise, they're too stupid. They don't have the gun that's prepared to shoot at any of it, or at anything. It's stupidity at the highest forms. Yeah, I'm surprised people are still stuck on the left-right paradigm. Are you really, though? I mean, we're talking about people who believe in Jesus. The same arrogance it takes to think that you pick the right side, left or right. You know, well, I know which one is the right one. All those people are wrong. It's that same arrogance that makes you a Christian. It's not even like yours is the #1 religion in the world. There are more Muslims than there are Christians, and yet all of those people are wrong and you're right. That's a level of arrogance that's just crazy. Haven't heard you make a valid point yet. Yep, that's your best option, right? Nothing I've said is valid. We should keep paying Israel. We shouldn't kill pedos. The left-right thing is totally, I'm just making that up. Donald Trump got shot and there's no cell phone videos to show it. Yeah, so what? I have all of the guns. Well, I would say right now in today's world, Donald Trump is the right one because that too the people unanimously. No, it's not. And what did you say back in 2017 after Donald Trump lost the election by 2.7 million votes? 2,700,000 more people voted for Hillary than Donald. And AIPAC, the swamp, put him in anyway. Then what? So this person said, you're lost. Y-O-U-R, lost. Need I say more? Do you see how stupid the average Trump supporter is? The average guy opposer is? They don't even know the right "your" to use. They're sitting here on their high horse pretending like they're so much smarter than, and they don't even know basic fucking words, man. You're right, they still believe in Jesus. Exactly. The only best app should anybody has right now is to get off your channel, because that only thing this is making you look on America. The people have spoken, and we got 3 more years of Trump. Do you guys, this is what this guy just said. The only best app should anybody has now is a get off your channel, because the only thing this is making you look on American, the people have spoken, and we got 3 more years of Trump. That is intelligent right there. I don't even know what to agree with or disagree with when it comes to that shit. And we don't have 3 more years of Trump. But, like, stupid. You don't have any guns because you're not allowed to buy them in the UK. Right. Well, got to keep the people disarmed. You know, can't let the people have an ability to fight the military that has all the armaments. Bro, how do you defend Hillary and not like AIPAC and Israel? Did anybody hear me defend Hillary? I can't remember. What part of the Hillary Clinton is awesome thing did I say? How stupid does somebody have to be? Well, if you're talking to political party-wise, I am going to go with the people that voted to give American people no tax on tip, no tax on overtime, and we're trying to get the crime rate down. Yeah, well, Trump's the only one that's that's ever addressed the crime rate, and the tips on never mind the I'm going to lower gas and food prices. That part you don't care about, that promise. Never mind the I'm going to end all the wars and with one phone call. Never mind that shit. Never mind, the funneling of money into Israel to murder people. Trump really wanted to give the American people money. He would cut off the memorandum of understanding that gives Israel $3.8 billion every year. The people didn't unanimously vote for Donald Trump. They didn't. It's just bullshit. Trump's a pretty good president. I like him too. Maybe not as much as Guy do, but I like him as president. Yeah, I bet you're a white guy. Then again, you did say do instead of does, so that might make you a black guy, but I doubt it. Oh, I just can't imagine black people like Trump. Racist, sexist, homophobic people like Trump. Up until this point. Where prior to this point, you could claim ignorance to the pedophilia stuff. I guess. Now, at the very least, he's guilty of a conspiracy with pedophiles, to cover up for pedophiles, to facilitate pedophiles. The whole Ghislaine Maxwell move to prison, all this bullshit. This is unprecedented. Pedophiles don't get this kind of treatment. But it's it should have been obvious the whole time. Trump's been best buddies with Epstein for the longest time. Like, it's just stupid. The whole narrative that you're given regarding it is fucking stupid. But nowadays, like I say, it's a pretty direct association, Trump and pedophilia. And if you're like, yeah, I like him. He's a pedophile, but I like him. That tells me You're one of the people that don't get caught by the predator hunters because you're not willing to drive somewhere. You probably have some shit on your phone, some pictures, some videos, whatever it might be on your phone that you don't want, search history that you don't want people to look at. Morning. But you know, the only people I can ever even begin to comprehend that can overlook pedophilia are pedophiles. So if you like Trump, you support Trump, you know, you're saying a lot more about yourself than I think you mean to. I believe in Jesus, and guess what I can spell? You don't believe in Jesus, you know how I know? You're a female. And as a female, you have no authority over me. You don't believe in Jesus. If you did, you would subscribe to 1 Timothy 2:12. You permit no woman to have authority over a man, or teach or have authority over a man. She is to keep silent. You don't like that part though, right? I love when females are dumb enough to engage in the religious conversation. Because again, you're just saying more about yourself than I think you realize. You don't actually believe that shit. None of you actually believe that shit. You say you do because, you know, it's the popular, you know, standard thing to say. But you don't believe, you know, the God of the universe came down, impregnated a virgin, yada, 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 yakety splee. You don't believe it so much that you don't even know what the fuck your Bible says. If you thought that that shit was actually true, meaning there was the slightest chance that you would burn in hell for all of eternity, not only would you know it front to back, you would follow it to a T, because you do not want to spend the rest of your eternity burning in fucking hell like Jesus. You just say that shit because it's the popular thing to say. It's the thing that your mom wants you to say. It's the, you know, whatever. But you don't believe it. If you believed it as a female, you would never speak out against a man because, you know, you're not supposed to. Every single man that exists is closer to God than you are. And your husband and your father are infallible, and you need to listen to them like you know, like you would God. You would rather live another 4 years of open borders, high taxes, food costs, and no high taxes, high food costs, no cops, boys and women's sports. Like, this is such a bigot, and he doesn't even realize what he's saying, right? Every one of his arguments is either stupidity or bigotry or a combination of both. Open borders because, you know, the Mexicans were so bad, and even though the crime rate was lower then. The high food costs. Food prices and gas prices have gone up, you fucking moron. Especially with all of the tariffs and all the shit, that everything is not only gone up, it's going up as a result because of Trump. No cops. There's always been cops. There's never been a situation where there were no cops. There were less cops, like in unnecessary places. We weren't in a police state like we are, especially in Washington, D.C. And boys and women's sports, right? Again, because that's this big thing. The only reason that is even a thing is because of, you know, insecure, arrogant pieces of shit like you, that there can't be a trans league. Why not just make a trans league? There's way more trans people than people realize. But this is the best you can do. Dude, I swear to God, I wish the FBI would look at this dude's phone. Right? Because this dude doesn't believe in Sky Daddy. This dude wants to stop genocide and pedophilia. I don't like this guy. Same dumbass crybaby nonsense it always is. Taxes are high for you because of Trump. Not just taxes. I mean, again, the whole taxes thing, like, the rich got the tax breaks. It's been proven. It was proven that the crime rate is up. And then they had to go back and remake the numbers to satisfy Trump. This dumbass kept telling everybody he was going to Russia when he was going to Alaska last week. This is the dumbass who said, we're going to lower medication prices. And he just starts rambling off numbers. 1,200%, 700%, 1,600%, 17. And he just keeps going and going. And none of those numbers make sense. All of those numbers that he said means you would get paid for taking medication. He's so stupid. When asked on Howard Stern if he had trouble with, did he think he would be able to bang 24-year-olds? He said he would have no problem. He has no problem, but he's married. But if he wasn't married, he would have no problem. Robin laughed and said, well, do you have a limit? And he said, no. Well, I wouldn't want to get caught fooling around with a 12-year-old like what's his name. Like, that's not the response that a normal person gives. Especially when he's 62 at the time. As a 62-year-old man, yeah, dude, I try to stay north of like 25, 30. Like, what could you eat at 60 years old? What could you even begin to talk about with a 20-something? He's so fucking weird and gross, and it's just, he shouldn't even be in office. It makes no sense that he's in office. If you worked at Walmart and the Walmart manager was so embroiled in a pedophile thing that it was national news, international news, they wouldn't be able to keep their job as manager of the Walmart. They would get put in a less distracting place, especially since once associated with pedophilia as much as Trump is, nobody would want to work for them. So they would get moved, they would get suspended, they would get removed from their position. Not Trump. Why? Because it's the best distraction. We're not talking about the Israel stuff. We're not talking about all the Israel connections with Epstein. We're just talking about, gee, is Trump associated with Epstein enough? Trump said he wishes Ghislaine Maxwell well while she's in prison. When asked, what do you have to say to Ghislaine Maxwell? Well, I wish her well. Said it twice. Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? All the while, our fucking money, our resources, our children are being stolen to give to Israel. To go kill people. To go kill innocent people. It's just, it's like a nightmare. It's this dystopian nightmare, and it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And it's all for the worst people in the world. These people hate you. You know? Our money goes to people who hate us. Trumpstein, of course we're talking about Trumpstein, and really the distraction that Trumpstein is. You know, he is he's the best distraction. He's like George Bush Jr. was. You can't pull off a 9/11 without a dumbass like George Bush Jr. in office to keep providing distraction. You know, 9/11 couldn't happen with Obama in office. Not enough dumbass distraction coming up. Trump is literally one of the dumbest people I've ever seen in such a high position. I can't tell you a thing that Trump said where I was like, wow, that was pretty fucking smart. And of course, look at the comment section. Apparently, these are these same random people who have nothing going on in their lives, who you know, aren't at work themselves. They come here day after day for hours on end to try to interrupt, interfere, distract, attack the guy who thinks we should kill pedos and eliminate the J control scheme. Just think about how insane that is. I'm a subscriber, respect me. Go fuck yourself. If it was all about numbers for me, I'd be pushing Jesus. If I cared about, you know, whether you were here and you know, I have to worry about what I say because you might get upset, it wouldn't be here. If I just wanted attention and I just wanted praise, I'd be pushing Jesus. And I'd be a fucking millionaire. Just why would anybody talk about the one thing we're not supposed to talk about if they wanted attention? It's the same thing as, why would you come to a feed to talk shit about the person who thinks we should kill pedos if you're not a pedo? How does that even work? You know, I can't stand Gordon Flowers, Alex Rosen. I hate his belief structure. I hate, you know, if he denounced his cult membership, then I would be all about him. But he proudly proclaims to be a cult member. And yet what he does very, very well. And because of that, I support the dude. He's exposing the worst element of our society. Even if you were somebody that was like, I hate black people and gay people, so I'm only going to focus on black guys who try to molest little boys. Hey man, I don't have to hang out with you, but I totally support what you're doing. Anybody that exposes and works to eliminate the pedos, they're okay with me. I support them. I encourage you to go watch Alex Rosen. Gordon Flowers, go watch that guy. He's a piece of shit, no doubt. But he's a brilliant piece of shit. When it comes to this one thing, he could teach the fucking government how to do it. He's brilliant at what he does. At the same time, he's a Trump supporter, so like that's a double pedo strike. He's a J and a Trump supporter, which is something I'd love to ask him about. Especially considering the vast majority of the people he catches are Trump supporters. I'd love to know if Alex Rosen still supports Trump after all of this Epstein shit. Look at this shit. It's just dumb, man. They're funny unintentionally, but they're not funny as comedians and shit. Because they don't have to be. They can just call Uncle Morty and say, I want to be a comedian. And he calls whoever, and they get an opportunity that nobody else would get. Guys like Dave Chappelle, guys like Patrice, Cat Williams to a point. They have to be extraordinarily funny. But I think of Cat Williams as almost like today's Richard Pryor. And I don't think Richard Pryor was funny at all. Richard Pryor was trash. His whole narrative is trash. Just like Cat Williams' narrative is trash. 12 years old, I left home and was making $1,000 a day, living on the streets of Florida. Blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, dude. That's bullshit. Patrice was amazing. Patrice was a philosopher on levels that are unmatched, other than by like Dave Chappelle. But Dave is clearly a company man. Patrice, well, he didn't play by the rules and he was killed. Patrice started talking about the Jays a little too much. My Orthodox Jays are different than Hollywood Jays. No, they're not. Yeah. I mean, everybody's different. But at their core, they all believe they're chosen by God. They're superior to everyone else. And that we're all goyim. And if you can tell me that you don't believe... I mean, again, it doesn't matter what you you personally, like, say you believe. This is that arrogant shit that just exists everywhere. Whether it's Christian, whether it's, whatever. It's this arrogant belief that you get to pick and choose which parts of the narrative you believe. You get to say, oh, well, I belong to this cult. I'm a Christian, but I don't believe in this part of it, or I don't believe in that part of it. Fuck. It's a level of arrogance that just, it's everywhere. It permeates everything. And until people get over their arrogance, it's really going to be a hard nut to crack. George Carlin wasn't funny either. He had some really philosophical things to say, but he wasn't that funny. And when you look back on his career, obviously he was, there's always the George Carlin role. There has to be. There has to be that George Carlin, that Joe Rogan, that guy that sort of questions things to keep so the people have somebody to get behind. Because if they didn't provide you with that person, then a person would rise up, and that person that rises up wouldn't be controlled. So by giving you a George questions this and questions that, George Carlin still called it the owners. Who are the owners, George? Well, but if you look at George Carlin's early work, he wasn't funny, at all. The hippy dippy weatherman wasn't funny at all. Hey man, it's like gonna rain, man. It's fucking stupid. The only thing that made him stand out was his willingness or privilege, permission to talk about religion. So automatically he becomes, the go-to guy. If you're not a religious guy, well, then he's the only comedian that's allowed to talk the way he does. And he, like I say, he was philosophical. He was intelligent. He just wasn't funny. Red Fox wasn't funny. I mean, I think it's crazy to me how Richard Pryor is propped up to such a fucking, on such a pedestal when he wasn't funny at all. Like, at all. I've watched entire Richard Pryor stand-ups and just been like, yeah. I mean, it's like Andrew Dice Clay. You know, it was like this thing that happened. Andrew Dice Clay is so insulting. It's a Jewish guy who wanted to be famous and tried to be a big band leader, you know, big band music. But that didn't work out for him. So he's given a second opportunity where he has this character that's part Vinnie Barbarino. He said it's part Vinnie Barbarino, part Fonzie, part the Nutty Professor, and one other person. I can't remember who the fourth one is. But it's like the Jays have been putting out the stereotype that Italians are stupid forever. Vinnie Barbarino was the Italian good-looking guy. He's fucking tall and he's good-looking and they got that beautiful hair. That make them stupid. Like, they're always stupid. The Joeys of the world, they're stupid. You know? And Dice Clay was somehow presented as this Italian representative. And you had this same thing, this Joey Buttafuoco pants like character made all of these Italian mooks. He appealed to the, you know, hey, yo, the fucking dumb stereotype. And you know, a rocket was shoved up his ass. He went to the moon. You go watch the shit now and it's just like, you know, especially after the first one. You know, after the first sort of shocking, whoa. His second comedy special is like, yeah, this isn't funny. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack's in the hospital with a French fried dick. And it's, oh my God, that's so funny. And then Rover took over. Oh, and you put your cigarette in your mouth like a fucking idiot. There's this secondary thing where he's the host. It's on YouTube. And, you know, I don't know if it's a plant in the audience or not, but there's a Dice wannabe Italian mook there with his girlfriend. And and Dice pulls him up on stage and like he does his Dice impression, and my wife loves this thing. This was her favorite. She thought it was so funny.
What?
When Dice pulled that guy on stage and then asked him, or was like, and so how do you talk to the girls? Remember? And then he did his Dice impression. He showed what he did. And he's like, yeah, so if it was me, I'd be sitting there leaning against the wall and I'd be doing my thing. And then I'd see her across the row and I'd make eyes at her. And when she made an eyes at me, I'd step up and I'd pull my collar and I'd whip out my cigarette and I'd put it in my mouth and I'd light it like this. And I'd walk up to her and I'd say, hey, baby. Hi, baby. Like, oh, it's just so fucking cringe. Oh, I suggest you watch it. If you can find it, watch it. Because it's... He's crazy. Like, oh, it's terrible. But that one special is just... It shows you that he was never funny. It was just a thing, right? It was just a moment in time that was captured. But it wasn't because he was so funny.
No, it was different. It was raunchy. It was shocking.
Right. At that point, we were, you know, the Brady Bunch were still doing specials and shit. Growing Pains was a #1 sitcom, and Little House on the Prairie was a show that people really, really liked. So to have Dice come out and say these things was just like, whoa, refreshing almost. But it's stupid. Cosby was fucking funny. Go watch Bill Cosby himself. That shit's funny. To this day, that shit's funny. Because Cosby had to succeed. He had to be funny. He had to be super funny. I'm telling you, go watch The Sullivan Show. The Sullivan Show is a great example of all of this. Carlin was on The Sullivan Show, wasn't funny. Richard Pryor was on The Sullivan Show, wasn't funny. But they would bring on guys, you know, Jackie Gleason or Jackie Mason. And Jackie Mason would do his Sullivan impersonation. And he would do like that and walk around the stage. And because Sullivan wasn't a J, he had to sit there and let these J's make fun of him to his face. And it just wasn't funny. It's just so crazy how unfunny it was. And Alan King, none of these guys are funny. Even Ari Shaffir today. This dude isn't funny. This dude's a racist. He's a supremacist. He claims to be an atheist, but he's not. If you're an atheist, then Judaism is just as dumb, because Jews aren't a race. It's a cult. You can't convert to a different race. I don't care what you want to believe. I don't care how stereotypical you want to talk or dress or whatever. You can't become black. It's sort of stolen from Dave Chappelle when I use this example, but he was using it talking about trans. But when it comes to the Jays, it's the same thing. When Jays claim that they're a race, it's like, imagine if suddenly I started going, okay, I'm going to talk like this now. I hate doing it because I hate doing the stereotypical shit, but I start talking in a very Jay-created stereotype, and I squint my eyes, and I tell everybody that they have to call me Chinese now. I have converted to Chinese because I talk like this, and I squint my eyes, and I want you to call me Chinese from here on out. I've converted my race. Nobody would accept that. Nobody would be like, all right, Mr. Chinese man, what'd you say your name was? I want you to call me Ping Pao Poo. I'm going to have a super stereotypical dumbass name. Call me Ping Pao Poo. That's my new Chinese name. All right, mister, is it Pao Poo or is that your middle? Is it Ping Pao your first name? I'll just call you Mr. Poo. Nobody would be okay with that. I would get called a fucking racist. I would be, it would be a big deal. So when these idiots claim that they're a race of any kind, when it's, the U.S. has passed a law where you're allowed to burn the United States flag as an expression, as your First Amendment right. Freedom of speech says you can burn an American flag. Judge just passed a law saying that burning an Israeli flag, we're not allowed to burn Israeli flags because Israeli flags are a symbol of the Jewish race, he said. And that's a stupidity that I refuse to comply with. I'm sorry, I'm just not stupid. So I can't subscribe to that idea because it's just stupid. You have to be stupid to think that people that they are a race. They are not a race. Sure, they have a look to them. Some of them. There's a vast difference between Israelis, the the very few of them that are actually Semitic, because 95% of them, according to the newest studies, 95% of them don't have Semitic roots. But it's not consistent. And again, there's no like place of origin. There's no, and anybody can convert. You could, as much as they would hate it, I could start dressing like them and talking like this, and I can grow out my little dreidel things, and I could, wear a stupid little yarmulke and walk around and say, hey, no, I'm one of you now. I'm Jewish now. Everybody has to call me Jewish. I changed my name to Chaim. You would have to acknowledge that. You couldn't tell me I wasn't allowed to do that. It's converting. I converted. Again, it wouldn't be accepted by them. And who are you to tell me that I'm not one of you because I didn't do this or didn't do that? I believe that my God is Jewish God, is Yahweh, is whatever, and I want to be considered Jewish from now on. Who's going to tell me I can't do that? That was great. Yor grew up with Wikipedia giving you a synopsis of history, religion, and knowledge are all derivative of the forerunners. Knowledge is incremental A. Yeah, whatever. LK, you like 40, bro. Thank you. Dude just said I was 40. Thank you. It's amazing how stupid these people are. Again, they're too stupid to actually engage in the conversation to begin with. It would be like you trying to have a political discussion with a kid, 7-year-old watching Sesame Street. We voted today in school. We had the option of whether we could have apples or oranges for snacks. So half of us voted for apples, and then the other half voted for oranges. So then we had to do a second vote. And then the second time, the apples won. People picked apples by two people. Two people. Yes, two people picked apples. And we had apples. And you're like, oh, okay, well, what about the executive branch and the judicial branch? What do you think about that? The conflict between the executive branch and the judicial branch? They're going to look at you like, what? Well, what do you think about the memorandum of understanding that was signed giving Israel $3.8 billion a year? Are you okay with that? Like, they're going to look at you like you're fucking crazy. Elmo said, it's the same thing here. And they just, they can't help but prove the point because, I'm right. If I was wrong, it would be obvious. It would be much easier to agree or to prove, to show. Oh shit, I just got a text from my wife. She said, that's me getting pulled over. I'm running. I love you. Holy shit. She's in a police chase right now. It's all a charade, man. It's all It's all a presentation that's given to you to keep you from focusing on the true problem. You know, they give you the bread in the circus. They had to let a black guy, you know, have some sort. It was the, like when people talk about Hollywood, they always talk about Hollywood like Hollywood was this person, this individual, and Hollywood used to be very racist. But over time, Hollywood became less racist. But it wasn't Hollywood being racist. Hollywood was controlled 100% by 5 or 6, can't remember, sorry, 5 or 6 Jewish families. They don't tell you how they created Hollywood, but that they did. And you'll see it in the description after the fact. The last video wouldn't let me edit the description until the video uploaded. So you might have to go to a previous video to see in the description. But the video is called Hollywoodism. It was made in the late 90s. It's not a conspiracy, you know, movie. It's a like a documentary they made about them. If I made the same documentary, word for word, except for when it says we and us, it says, I said, you know, it was they and them, but it was a word for word copy, it would get panned. It would get, you know, this is anti-Semitic tropes, how you can't say these things, blah, blah, blah. But they flat out tell you that they created Hollywood, not how, but that they did. They ran it with an iron fist, and they used it to create the narrative that they wanted created. At one point, one of the descendants says, essentially you could say, the American dream is the Jewish dream. They made America, and therefore the world, using Hollywood. They sculpted things to be in a way that they wanted it to be, where they are untouchable. You know, they are the chosen, they are the best, we are just dumb goyim, you know, all that shit. They gave us all of our history. What you think history is not. It's just a narrative that was given to you. They control science. They control all of it. And they've tricked you into thinking that if you say they control all the money, the power, and the wealth and all that shit, they have all the money, power, and control, that is somehow a slur. When you think about like the slurs you know against black people, against Asians, against Mexicans, whatever, none of those slurs compare with has all the money, power, and control. But they've tricked you into thinking that it does. That all the horrible things that get said about black people, you know, Asian, even white people, all the horrible things said, that it's just the same thing as saying, well, yeah, well, you know how white people do this, this, and this, and black people do this, and Mexicans do this. They have all the money, the power, and control. Oh man, that's horrible. How can you say such a horrible thing? Like it's just all part of this narrative that was controlled, was given to us. And at the time, they had to start letting black people on TV. They had to. My dad told me that when he was a kid, when guys like Richard Pryor would get that spot on the Sullivan Show or whatever, somebody would come out and go, black people on TV. And everybody would stop what they were doing and run into their house or run to the house that had the TV so they could just see it, because they never saw it, because it just was so far-fetched to see black people on TV. My dad was born in 58. So he's talking about prior to like 1970. And so when guys like Richard Pryor were on TV, they all saw it. They would go to great lengths to see it. You know, back in the day, before TV, you know, boxing would be on the radio, and people would listen to people commentate boxing matches, especially if it was a black guy, because that's all black people had. At least, again, this is what we're told. And they saw that this change was happening, that they needed to start giving black people, they couldn't just exclude black people. Again, Hollywood wasn't racist. They are very, very, very fucking supremacist. Not just racist. Supremacist. And so they tried to get away with painting themselves up in blackface. And that worked for a while, but that started to not fly so well. You know, they did the same thing with Native Americans and Mexicans. But once they needed to start, you know, changing to fit the times because we were no longer accepting it, then they started, okay, we'll let certain black people be on TV. We'll let black people that we think are funny on TV, like Richard Pryor. What's funnier to them than watching a black person be like, this is how stupid black people are? I got an uncle who's a junkie. Hey man, I'm a junkie. Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, that's what we think of you, so we think that's funny. Oh, please, keep dancing, clown. Keep dancing. Keep playing the role we want you to play, and we'll let you be on TV. You look at Richard Pryor's history, it doesn't make any sense. His narrative is that he was molested as a kid. He grew up in a whorehouse. His mother was a prostitute. His father was a pimp. His grandmother raised him in the whorehouse where she was mean. He was kicked out of school at 17. Joined the military, where he almost immediately was put into the brig. He was in military prison for attempted murder because him and a group of black guys saw a white guy laughing at something that was racist, and they took offense to it, so they tried to kill him by stabbing him. 2 years later, he's let out of the military. Again, this is how it accounts for his military service that no one saw. That no one can say, oh, I was in the service with Richard Pryor, so I knew him. No, this is what they do. They create these narratives because 2 years later, he's out. Attempted murder of a white dude. A group of black men attempt to murder a white dude by stabbing him a bunch of times for laughing at you know, some white racist humor in like the 50s or, you know, late 50s, early 60s, right? The military is just gonna let those black guys go free after 2 years? But Pryor gets out of the military, where he joins the Masonic Lodge, and 3 years later he's on Sullivan. 2.5, 3 years later he's on Sullivan. Because that's just how it worked for black people back in the day, right? Black people just got opportunities like that, right? And it just so happened to be the black guy that was willing to do all the terrible impressions, to push all the worst stereotypes. And I'm go watch his earliest appearances. Nothing funny about it. Wonder if I can find it. Don't know if it'll let it be on here. Let's see. Huh? I know. It's huge.
What? 14 feet?
I was going to say 14, 15 feet tall.
Look.
Oh, the Richard Pryor roast. That's even crazier.
This is what he did.
The Richard Pryor roast, where you can see that he's obviously a homosexual. Him and, I forget that other guy's name.
I'll go get
Rooney, what the fuck is his name? Richard Pryor roasts himself. Have you guys heard this before?
It's really cringy.
It's super awful.
It's really not funny. Oh, you already saw it one time.
Paul Mooney. Yeah, Paul Mooney is the guy who isn't funny.
I'm glad we did this. I really mean
Look
that.
at he's so clearly gay, and I have nothing bad against him being gay, you know. But he portrayed such a stereotype and talked so much shit about gay people. Look at the way he even claps. Paul Mooney. It's the Richard Pryor roast. This shit is ridiculous. I don't own this. I'm just reviewing it like so many other people do.
Thank you.
Look at Mooney.
I am thrilled. It's not often that amateur people get a chance to be on television, even 30 or 40 seconds as they go. And the comments were brilliant. Spoon on the end. A man who nobody gives a shit about.
Oh boy, that's super funny. This is him roasting the people that roasted him.
I was cleaning out toilets, and
We
found him. He was making a sandwich. He said, "Spoon, please, drop the doo-doo."
Drop the doo-doo. He was making a sandwich out of poop. Poop jokes.
I don't want to see black people doing this. Please come forth and join in the group of life. He since then has become a big doorman at a fabulous hotel. If you're ever at the Hotel La Rico, you will see him there. He's there when you park the cars. He's the one with you vomit in his hand.
Vomit in his hand. Oh, that is so funny.
Necessary.
Vomit.
Just regurgitate, and he will accept that fine. Next to him is a woman who's passed for white for years. Used to be a hoe in Detroit.
Hoe in Detroit. Hoe in Detroit.
I know fired her. Fag got her, let her loose. That's how she got to Hollywood. She came out here on a Greyhound, not a bus, a Greyhound.
It's because it's a dog. Ooh.
Next to her is a wonderful Tim. Tim. That's a great name for a black man nowadays.
Tim.
It's Tim. It's for the hippie racists. It's like Tom, but it's Tim. It's the same thing. He's a really clever man. He plays with himself in movies.
Plays with himself in movies.
We discovered him in a porno film. Because we wanted to give him a job because he had the shortest thing of any black man in the world.
Poop jokes, dick jokes, hoe jokes.
We had little ones. So we hired Timmy Boy.
Timmy Boy.
Next sitting to him is a big black gorilla.
Yeah, big black gorilla. She's a woman. This is a big black gorilla. So funny. So funny. Mooney's.
We fixed her hair, and she's been acting a fool ever since. The only difference now, she cleans her cage.
Cleans her cage.
But I love her dearly.
Look at this part.
Next to her is what we call Miss Thing.
Outing him because he's gay, clearly. Miss Thing. Oh, this is so funny. Watch, it gets better. Man.
We call him that with love and affection, as all of us know.
I mean, this is some inside joke shit.
Well, he hasn't let us down yet. We've been friends a long time, and I sure wish he'd return my red handkerchief. My wife's been wondering where it was. I hope it still has her perfume scent on it. But really, Paul, it's been a pleasure working with you because we worked together many years on the Red Fox show. We started writing together, and we walked into the office with a white man, and Paul didn't. What he did was sucked his dick. I must say, Paul had a sense of humor. He didn't let him come in his mouth.
So it's been a poop joke, a Detroit hoe joke, a dick joke, a gorilla hoe joke, some gay jokes, because Pryor is so innovative.
Most of the dialogue for everybody up here tonight. He's a brilliant writer.
So wait, did you just hear that? He said Paul wrote most of the dialogue for everyone up here tonight. Meaning the entire roast. Paul Mooney was clearly gay, and so was Richard Pryor. It's just what it is. You know, it's why do you think such a famous man who had the world at his fucking fingertips was freebasing cocaine and lit himself on fire? Multiple wives, you know, bad father, like known to be a guy who clearly struggled with all kinds of shit. Especially when you know the narrative he grew up, and he was clearly effeminate and a homosexual at an early age. So I can't imagine that was handled well by his pimp boxer father. But here, let's keep going.
Once what was that man's name that we went to and we had to fight? The producer. The bill. Sheldon Leonard. We watched. He's a brilliant.
Okay, so he's talking about how they were. He just said that we had to fight. That they made them to fight each other.
We went once to what was that man's name that we went to and we had to fight? The producer. The bill. Sheldon Leonard.
Bill Cosby show.
We was there for an hour together, and Sheldon Leonard picked our brains and he said, "Thank you, and you can leave now." And I asked for the money, and Paul said, "Don't do that. Don't get us in no trouble now." I threatened to kick his ass, and Paul tried to join him.
Because Paul's gay.
But we're dear friends, and this is all in fun. Next, just don't tell him about Mo Robinson.
Mo Robinson?
Next, I moved. Paul was with me once when I first fucked my first faggot. And he's been holding that over my head for 2 years. I fucked a faggot. I just want to say it now so nobody else can tell. I liked it. I would have married him, but he had to go away and get an operation. I'd like to move now, Paul, if you don't mind. Move to the other end to white person who I give less of a shit about, who is a very brilliant man. I haven't seen anyone this funny since Jonathan Drake. Jonathan Drake, as you know, used to
Robin
eat
Williams.
baseballs in the afternoon and fart footballs.
Eat baseballs and fart footballs.
It's close. He's close to that. He's really funny. As you notice, he's trying out for Wolfman next week. He has all that hair on his hands, and it's obvious he jacks off funny because it's
Jacks
on
off
the
jokes.
outside of his hands.
The best is next, though. Laura Keitlinger, who is not funny at all.
He's another brilliant queen that we have.
Ah, another gay joke. Queen. You hear Mooney. His closet is the Hollywood Bowl. Lights his cigarette like a girl. Oh, that's not the rest. They cut out the part where he talks about the Jewish girl, Laura Keitlinger. I do want to look up Wiki. Sheldon Leonard. Sheldon Leonard Burchad, born February 22nd, 1907, died January 11th, 1997, 90 years old. Was an American film, television actor, producer, director, and screenwriter. Early life, what do you think it was? Sheldon Leonard Burchad was born in Manhattan, New York, the son of middle-class Jewish parents, Frank Burchad and Anna Levitt. He graduated from Syracuse in 1929. That's it. One of the most influential men in Hollywood has the exact same story as all of the rest of them. Born in Hollywood, born in Manhattan or in Brooklyn or one of the New York boroughs. Middle class Jewish parents. And he somehow, he was born in 1907, so television technology was very new. But he somehow became a television mogul. Who was Mo Robinson? Let's see, Mo Robinson. That was the other guy mentioned. There is no Mo Robinson that was who he mentioned, Mo Robinson. Sheldon Leonard, his career, let's see if it's, as an actor, Leonard specialized in playing supporting characters, especially gangsters or heavies. His trademark was his especially thick New York accent, usually delivered from the side of his mouth like this. So he was one of these guys, pretending to be Italian. Because Italians and Jays actually do look a lot alike, especially the old men. So, they could get away with playing Italian gangsters and Italian mobsters and all that shit back then. Until they fucked up and had to use the production codes. 1930s, the production codes. His breakthrough role was in Another Thin Man. My dad loved The Thin Man. 1939. In which he played a soft-spoken but dangerous murder suspect. From then on, he was typecast as smooth gangsters or streetwise guys in such movies as It's a Wonderful Life, as Nick the bartender in 46, To Have or Have Not 1944, Guys and Dolls 1955, and Open Secret 1948. What's Open Secret? Newlyweds Paul Lester and his wife Nancy Rudolph are invited to visit Paul's friend Ed Stevens. They arrive to find Stevens gone, and a mysterious phone call gets Paul to the other end of town. While he's away, Nancy is assaulted by a would-be burglar. Paul thinks there's something going on. There's something more going on than a missing persons case or a burglary, and tries to interest police detective Fontrelli, that's this guy, into looking into it, but Fontelli is initially skeptical. When Stevens turns up under the wheels of a truck, along with evidence tying him to an earlier hit-and-run murder, Paul is certain that there's some kind of organized conspiracy afoot. What he finds is a town slowly coming under siege from a secret band of anti-Semitic thugs masquerading as a patriotic organization with whom Stevens has been involved and tried to quit. Oh, what are the chances? What are the fucking chances? I just happened to look this shit up. Oh, you'll say I knew what it was beforehand. Is that what it was? Paul and Nancy's situation goes from bad to dangerous when they accidentally stumble upon the evidence that can hang the murderers. Anti-Semitic thugs. Okay, he had a lot of film roles, on radio from 45 to 55. Leonard played an eccentric racetrack tout on the Jack Benny program. Jack Benny was great. Let's see. Producer. Though he never entirely abandoned acting, by the mid-50s, Leonard was much more likely to be found behind the camera than in front of it, as he transitioned from a character actor into a successful TV producer, often in partnerships with Danny Thomas. And also, Make Room for Daddy, the Danny Thomas Show. Isn't that the same thing? And also a frequent TV episode director. Leonard's hits as a producer include The Danny Thomas Show, a.k.a. Make Room for Daddy, 1953 to 1964, where midway through the series run, he had a reoccurring role as Danny's agent, Phil Brokaw. The Andy Griffith Show from 60 to 68, Gomer Pyle from 64 to 69, and I Spy from 65 to 68. Those are some big fucking shows, man. Thanks to his many years in show business, Leonard had cultivated a quick, shrewd capacity for pinpointing strengths and flaws in prospective projects. It was Leonard who recognized that a sitcom pilot, Head of the Family, was structurally sound but miscast. He felt that actor-writer Carl Reiner was too overbearing as the lead and insisted that the script be refilmed with up-and-coming comic Dick Van Dyke. The result was The Dick Van Dyke Show. Sheldon Leonard also directed several TV series episodes, including 4 of the first 8 episodes of the TV series Lassie. Leonard also provided the voice of Linus the Lionheart in the series of post-Crispy Critters serial TV commercials from 63 to 64, which he led to a Linus cartoon series that aired on Saturday and later Sunday mornings on CBS from 64 to 66 and on ABC from 67 to 69. It's really crazy when you look at how it used to be structured and how it was clearly Friends that owned all of the different networks. And it was just like sports teams where they would, they were in competition, but they would all go out to eat and shit afterward. And they would trade players, and they would trade, in this case, they would trade actors, and it just goofy. He also was briefly the star of his own television show, Big Eddie, in 75, where he played the owner of a large sports arena. God damn it. The show only lasted for 10 episodes. The character of Andy Taylor was introduced in 1960 episode of The Danny Thomas Show, which led to the series The Andy Griffith Show. Leonard is formally credited with developing the practices of using an episode of a series as a backdoor pilot episode for a new series in which a guest star is introduced as a new character with the intention of using this character as the basis for a new TV show. Leonard introduced the Andy Griffith spinoff Mayberry RFD as the summer replacement. Blah, blah, blah. Leonard has a distinction along with author Mickey Spillane of being one of the first two Miller Lite spokesmen using his trademark accent. He told audiences, I was at first reluctant to try Miller Lite, but then I was persuaded to do so by my friend Large Lewis. Interesting. Fuck, I'm tired. It's so funny. What I do is so bad that this person watches me for hours every day. Begs for my attention. Dumb J piece of shit. You know, what you need to do for yourself after you get off of here. Look up the Hays Code. The Motion Picture Production Code was a set of industry guidelines for the self-censorship of content that was applied to most motion picture releases by major studios in the United States from 34 to 68. It was also popularly known as the Hays Code after William H. Hays, president of the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America from 22 to 45. This whole story is just so insane, and I highly suggest you look into it. I'm exhausted. I can't do anymore. So I appreciate everybody being here. Like, share, sub. Like I said earlier, I don't know if it's going to let me edit the description until it uploads. Sometimes it just does that, right? If it does, then it'll be in the description now. If it doesn't, it'll be in the description later. If you need it now, go to a previous video where it's more than likely in the description. The website, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It's free to download, free to listen to, free to enjoy. It'll ask you, when you click download, it'll ask you how much you want to pay. Click 0, and all we ask is that you share it with somebody. Or donate, because we really do appreciate that as well. Link will be in the description, along with a link to Hollywoodism, the most important film ever created. Talked about it earlier. The American dream is the Jewish dream. It explains what's going on today, right now. So go watch that. Especially go watch it so you can tell me what I'm wrong about. That'd be even better. And go check out the 3 music videos from Facebook. Real quick. Just to address the comments here, right? I'm look up something called Act.il. Act.il was a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online anti-Israel content, such as the Boycott, Divestments, and Sanctions Movement, BDS. Its activities were referred to as an online propaganda campaign and a, quote, virtual situation room for pro-Israel experts. Act.il directed its users to missions to like, comment on, and share pro-Israel material on social media. It also asked users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel. Users were guided on how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points, such as, I'm on crack, schizophrenic, whatever the dumb shit that they come up with instead of addressing what's being said. The app also provided users with ready-made memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. It's also why you don't see anybody ever come in here and actually tell me what I'm getting wrong, or, it's interesting that they never talk about the good stuff Israel does or the good stuff the Jays do, or why everything is okay. All they know how to do is attack in the like dumbest ways possible. It's really some inbred stupidity, but you can see why. By completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. They basically turned trolling into like a video game, a real life video game where they get prizes, real life prizes for racking up high scores. It's right here on Wikipedia for you to see it. There's no conspiracy theory about it. It explains who's here talking shit in the comment section. Who is ever going to talk shit about the guy who thinks we should kill pedos? About the guy who thinks we should stop being J slaves? Only they would. They're the only ones that, only J's and pedos and J pedos would be the ones that would come here and talk shit like they do. And on the other hand, you have Team Jorge, which is just one Israeli black ops organization that basically, I'm not going to read it all. You can go read it all. But one of the organization's primary tools. Okay, so let me just do the. Team Jorge is the name given to an outfit of Israeli contractors specialized in the use of malign cyber activities, including hacking, sabotage, and bot farm run social media disinformation campaigns to manipulate the outcomes of fucking elections, where they have an 82% success rate. They have an 82% success rate in manipulating elections. So fucking with my YouTube feed isn't hard to do, especially when one of the organization's primary tools is a software package called Advanced Impact Media Solutions, or AIMS. The software automates centralized control of thousands, as many as 30,000 social media profiles at any given time that they can use to attack, they can use to support. Like, they can make a star out of nobody, get 10 groups like this to all focus their 30,000 bots on somebody's profile, and overnight they have 100,000 likes and blah blah. You make a star overnight using this technology. You also use this technology to attack someone like me. Team Jorge is such a key component to all of this that people really need to look it up. They really need to understand what's going on. And when you question the legitimacy of Wikipedia because that's what you're told to do, just remember this. This is Naftali Bennett, currently former Israeli Prime Minister. At the time of the video in 2010, he's a future Israeli Prime Minister and a high-ranking Israeli agent. He's talking to IsraelNews.com, IsraelNationalNews.com.
In conjunction with My Israel, has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
I came here to learn.
Wikipedia is balanced and Zionist in nature, according to those who control it, who taught the editors of the #1 source of information in the world how to edit. And the example he gave you, the Gaza flotilla, is where Ken O'Keefe comes from. Go figure, Ken O'Keefe. It's all connected. Go look into it. Go educate yourself. So when you come back tomorrow, You can say more than the same stupid shit you always do. Maybe you can make a point. Maybe you can tell me what I'm wrong about. You ain't got control over it. No, not yet. But whatever I'm doing clearly bothers you so much you come here every single day and beg for my attention. So I must be doing something right. For me to get all of this energy and focus on me, I must be doing something right. So I'm going to keep doing what I do that's clearly such a threat to you that you spend this much effort and energy on me. And I already gave you guys the links. They're all in the description. Go get them. Go check them out. Go get the free download. Blah, 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 blah. Most importantly, go watch Hollywoodism. It's all there for you to see it. It's not even that well hidden. The ultimate conspiracy is right in front of you. That's how it works out so well. Because it's so obvious. That's how they make it jive. So, you have yourself a wonderful day. And as I always say, the most important thing I can ever ask is acknowledging the society we live in that doesn't handle this properly. So I'm begging you, the people capable of hurting other people, the pedophiles out there, our society does not let us handle you properly. So I'm begging you, especially if you're somebody who has yet to hurt somebody, you only deal in fucking nasty fucking child exploitation materials on your phone or whatever. You will graduate to hurting somebody if the opportunity presents itself. Before that happens, before you who has hurt somebody can hurt anybody else, do one good thing in this world, redeem yourself, and kill yourself.